the studio today, I am so excited about having Lois Akers and Jeff Caudle. Now, all of you are familiar with Jeff. She's been at Bank of Atchison for a long time and has been involved in everything Atchison. And Lois Akers is new to our community, but Lois, I think you've probably met more people in your short stint here than some folks that have been here for years. So there's a new proposal coming out that you two have been working on for a long time, the Atchison Innovation Center. Tell me a little bit about this and explain for our listeners, because I think you kind of have to start at the beginning.
Well, this has been a fun project, and I found out about it within the first 2 months of being here. It'll be a place where creative people and business people that have ideas can come and have the resources there to make it a reality. So that's kind of and have an ultimate effect on the economy of the city and create jobs. So that's the overall mission of an innovation center. There's a lot more specifics on the type of hardware and software and classes and maybe a studio or rental space that would be available to make it happen. But that's a short little definition.
It is so exciting to think that we might have something like this here. And you know what, I'm so impressed with you two, because 8-9 months ago, this was not even on the works, and the two of you have pulled this together, and our community. It's like I always say, everybody pulling together, we can make a whole lot of things happen. And it basically is a place where people with ideas can come to grow those ideas. And Jeff, tell me a little bit about your vision, because those of you that don't know Jeff, he gives me assignments, and one of my assignments was to read Makers over my vacation, so I would understand this better. Jeff, give me your vision of this.
Yes, Louise is speaking of a book named Makers, written by a gentleman named Chris Anderson, and really there's a new kind of a industrial revolution, if you will, business revolution that we're undergoing as we speak nationwide. And what that relates to is the fact that we've had a massive change in technology, where there's a new process called desktop manufacturing, where they have things such as 3D printers and laser cutters that if you can design a product on your computer screen, you can press a button and it'll actually make the object literally in front of you. And you put that technology along with the advent of idea sharing on the internet, and then also the ability to market products. If you come up with an idea that's a neat deal that people would actually pay for, you can go to the internet and sell it. So what we're trying to do here, the idea here is to make sure that Atchison and the region, the 6-county region that we're located in here, doesn't get left behind in terms of this technology and these ideas. And it's truly for all parts of the community, whether it be the guy that works with his hands that's been a tinkerer and an inventor for years, or whether it's a student coming through the technical school at Highland, or the engineering student at Benedictine, or the artist that wants to contribute with creating a concept for a brand and that kind of stuff. And so we want to get all these people in the community under one roof where they can share ideas and hopefully come up with an idea or two that turns into a business. We're going to put a business component in also through the Cray Center for Entrepreneurship. They're going to assist if ideas come to be reality in formulating a business plan and some of that type of stuff, so that we can hopefully create some economic activity in our community and in our region here.
That is, and Jeff, you mentioned we don't want to get left behind. This isn't left behind. This will be the first of its kind. Am I right? Where you're marrying art and technology, engineering, all of these entities coming together to build products and to build things. One of the things with Makers they had talked about was, and all of you guys have seen it at this point, on the top of an iPhone, there's a little square. That came out of this innovation center in California, which, those are the types of things that could happen in Atchison, Kansas, where you get those types of minds all together, and it's amazing what could happen. Lois, where are we looking at locating this? Because I think that's a fair, it's going to be here in Atchison, but where?
Sure. Actually, we have a great location. The project was looking to renovate an older building and have it in the downtown area. So we're looking at the American Legion building, which is a 22,000 square foot building. It's very sturdy, It's got a lot of good features for a project like this, because this building will probably host, if you could imagine, it'll have like a lab for computers and maybe 3D printers. It'll have a shop area with computer numeric controlled laser cutters and routers. It'll have an area of studio area for presentations for the art aspect of this project, and then it'll have conference room and some office space, a reception area. So it'll be a working, functioning place with equipment, but it'll also be a nice place for ideas to formulate and to have events. Bring in a speaker and really have a nice time with a lot of different people in the community, both the young folks, let's say from the colleges, and the more experienced, which is my other word of saying, another way of saying old. But
I like experienced better, Lois.
Experienced, yeah. Mm-hmm. But business and academic. So it really will be a neat gathering place, or a crossroads. Jeff likes to call it a crossroads, and I think that's a great word for it.
Because it's putting people together with ideas. Mm-hmm. And I love this. It says bridging the gap between ideas and the marketplace. That's one of your taglines on here. But that's what we're looking at, isn't it? And trying to get people involved within the community. And one of the byproducts of this is activity downtown. Yeah. Because we need more activity in the downtown area. And I know you're putting the grant in to MoCan Area Development, or have you already filed that grant?
The initial grant, we're kind of calling it a foundational grant, is going to be sent over or finished June 13th, and we should hear by the end of summer whether or not we get that grant. I think there's a high probability that it might happen. We're certainly positioning ourselves to go after that. Now, that grant said they were hoping to have doors open June of 2015. So we're hoping, that sounds great, I think.
And I'm giving you guys plenty of kudos, because I'll tell you, 8 months ago, we were not even a flicker in MoCan's eye, were we? And these two, along with a number of community leaders, which we can't name everybody because there's too many of them, but these two, along with a whole group, a herd of Atchison folks, have impressed MoCan to the point that they are looking at Atchison for an entrepreneur center as well. And I think that's a credit to all of you guys.
Let me explain real quickly what MoCan is that Louise referenced, and that's MoCan Regional Council out of St. Joseph, Missouri, and they serve as an economic development agency that serves 6 counties, 2 counties in Kansas and 4 counties in Missouri. And Tom Bliss at their office has essentially been working on this project and this concept now for the last couple of years, and has done a tremendous amount of the legwork to make it even possible to apply for the grant. And we're also the grant's going to be used, if it works, to fund a location in Atchison and in St. Joseph, Missouri. So it'll also foster better communication, better activity between the two communities of Atchison and St. Joseph. If you're active in the Atchison building, then you could probably you can go to St. Joe and use some of their facilities and that kind of stuff.
And it's also opening up to ideas from St. Joe, right?
Yeah.
Because now you have a whole group. And Jeff, I'm going to give you an assignment. There's a new book called Free. And it came up as one of the topics when these two gave a presentation at Rotary today and did a fantastic job. But it used to be that if you had an idea, you clung to it, tried to develop it, and then take it to the marketplace. Free is a whole new generational thinking process that you look at. Lois, you have a young man, and I do too. And those two have grown up on the internet, and everything's free there.
Yeah.
I get chastised for even buying cable because he's like, well, but you can get everything free. Well, the whole new generation is coming up with, I've got an idea, I'm going to give it to you, you add to my idea, and I think that's a lot of what this is, isn't it? Is trying to get more ideas to develop products that can be manufactured. Yeah. Is that right?
It's really fostering a culture or an environment of collaboration.
Yes.
And it's the right brain people working with the left brain people, and academia with the business, and the longtime tinkerer may come in and do a class for the young people. I mean, it really has a lot of potential for opening up ideas and people getting to know each other. And again, as Jeff said, St. Joe people coming to come into Atchison. I think that's a great thing.
It's a two-way street. We can go up there and use some of their facilities and products. I'm looking at this. The Engine Center is one of the names that you've kind of come up with, but they're having digital fabrication, wood and metal. So woodworkers would love to come down there to build different things. Welding, design, an art studio. It's just it's a very flexible space that you can bring folks in that want to create. Isn't that kind of a good description,
yes.
Would you say?
Flexible is absolutely a good word. I mean, there will be processes in place. There will be safety training and all those kind of things. But yes, flexible, collaborative. And those are words I've heard from other similar centers. We're going to just really expand upon that, I think, by having the art piece and the business, the manufacturing, and the technology. I think those four pieces together will really show some great results. I have no doubt about it.
Now, Lois, is there, if people are interested in learning more about this, or if they want to stay informed about this, is there a place that they can log on, or have we got any? Tell me what we've got. Can they call somewhere? Is there anywhere they can start? Looking at this?
If you want the guts of it, a lot of the information, you can go to MOCAN, mo-kan.org, and it's called the Engine Center. Now that will show you the 2 feasibility studies. So that'll tell you why this region, what the skill sets are for this region, and maybe the phase 2 will talk about possible operation. But if you want to get involved in the Atchison local site, I mean, right now I'm the lead consultant. I'm kind of the point person. I don't mind giving out my email. It's Lois Akers, LoisAkers, at iCloud. My son has me, latest and greatest. It's iCloud.com. So, as far as my phone number, call Louise, and you can get my phone number from Louise. I'm not going to put that over the radio.
Well, and most people know where to find me. Yeah. But if people are thinking, wow, this sounds so exciting, I want to start a small business. Now, you've already got some prospects as far as small businesses in there.
We're going to have extra space there besides just the Engine Center piece of it with the new machinery and stuff. And so we hope to be able to identify a couple of startup businesses that may want to use some space over time, and we don't have anything committed to yet, but we're exploring those as another way to utilize this, because a lot of times business incubation in the old school method was about providing some space so that a business can get started relatively low cost, and we're going to make that a small piece of this overall project too.
Fantastic. So, all right, Lois, give us that MOCAN so they can go there, because I think one of the things that and maybe some of the videos that were on, because there was one on TV not very long ago called Makers, and it was on one of the business channels. I recorded it and made my son watch it, so that he knows more about this. But tell us, is there places that people can go on YouTube or kind of get some ideas on what this is like? It's hard to explain it over the radio.
That's true. A picture is worth 1,000 words. So if you were to Google, go into YouTube and look up Tech Shop, that's a kind of an example. Now that's a for-profit version, but if you would look up Tech Shop, there'll be several different videos that show job creation and where they've created these sites, these innovation sites, for lack of a better word, with equipment and a variety of different people in there where people have come in and created new things. So that would be a good place to start, is just to look up Tech Shop.
And that way they can see what we're talking about. I think that's helpful. You played the video at Rotary, and I think that opened up a lot of folks' eyes, because it is very hard to explain something as new and innovative as this is.
Give us another couple weeks. This has been a very accelerated time frame, which is a good problem to have. MOCAN is putting together a video, and we've even talked to some people locally about putting together a video. So you're on the right track, Louise. We'll have some local stuff soon.
Oh, fantastic. And Lois, I know you and Jeff are going around to different groups. So would you be willing to do a presentation if some of our folks wanted you to come talk to, say, their group?
Sure, to groups, to businesses. I mean, we're going to look for partnerships, both public and private. Yeah, that would be fabulous.
This could help so much with some of the local businesses too if they're needing something.
Sure.
I know Jeff talked about some businesses that needed some product fabricated and built, and they were having to ship them off and bring them back in. So it could help our local businesses enormously.
Yeah. And actually, remember the piece of it is the business piece. So those guys, those students, those professors, they want to talk to businesses. They want to help with business plans. They want to have experience talking to businesses and seeing what are your issues and can we help or give you some ideas. So remember the business piece of that. That's going to be a part of the overall innovation center.
It's where academia meets the real world.
Real
isn't
people,
it?
yeah.
Real world. Hey, thanks, you guys. You are doing such a fantastic job, and I'm so proud of both of you. And thanks so much for coming. Can you guys come back and update us when we get going on this a little bit more? I'd love to have you come back in.
Sure.
Yeah, we'd be happy to.
All right. Thanks, guys. And remember, call me for everything real estate. 367-3116.